Hi guys, welcome back to the web. So in today's segment, it's in the spirit of Women's History Month. We're gonna focus on women's rights, and basically the empowerment of women. So this comes from the World Economic Forum. Why women's empowerment is essential to our global recovery. Women's rights must be central to the global recovery. Here's why. The economic crisis resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic is having a profound detrimental effect on women. Women are more likely to work in healthcare, unpaid care, and domestic work, making them more susceptible to the consequences of the pandemic. Today, women still have only three-quarters the legal rights of men, on average, and fewer than half of the world's countries have equal pay. Addressing this is essential to combating gender equality and fueling the global recovery from COVID-19. Write two experts from the World Bank. The economic crisis resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic is having a profound detrimental effect for most people around the world. Yet it has impacted men and women differently. Women are more likely to work in healthcare, unpaid care, and domestic work, making them more susceptible to the consequences of COVID-19 pandemic. Women will earn less than men for equally valued jobs, bear more of the child care burden, and face a higher risk of violence in their homes. The pandemic has widened the gender gap in labor force participation, risking decades of progress for women as workers and entrepreneurs. As we write this, the COVID-19 pandemic is still claiming lives and livelihoods. The government policies to address the gender effects of the pandemic have not been enough given the magnitude of the challenge. Now that's a mouthful. According to the World Bank's Women, Business, and the Law 2021 report, women still have only three-fourths the legal rights of men, on average around the world. This matters because better performance in the areas measured by the Women, Business, and the Law Index is associated with a narrower gender gap in development outcomes. More female policymakers, higher female labor force participation, and lower vulnerable employment. A legal environment that encourages women's economic inclusion can also make them less vulnerable in the faces of a crisis. Let me say that last line again. A legal environment that encourages women's economic inclusion can also make them less vulnerable in the face of a crisis. So basically, if women are given equal rights as it relates to the work environment, then they are less vulnerable in the face of a crisis. Women, Business, and the Law measures how laws and regulations affect women's economic opportunity in 190 economies. The 2021 edition covers reforms conducted between September 2019 and October 2020. The index analyzes economic rights during different milestones in a woman's working life through 8 indicators ranging from being able to move freely to rights in the workplace. Through rights during marriage and after having children, how the law prevents or allows them to run their own businesses and manage assets all the way to retirement. The global average score in 2020 is 76.1, up from 75.5 in 2019. In 10 countries, women on an equal legal standing with men across all areas measured: Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Ireland, Latvia, Luxembourg, Portugal, and Sweden. This year, Ireland joined the group by reforming parental leave, and Portugal equalized rules for remarriage. 27 economies implemented reforms aimed at equality of opportunity across 7 of the 8 indicators measured by women: business and the law. Economies in the OECD, high income and Middle East and North Africa MENA regions reformed the most. Yet the MENA economies still have the most room to improve. The reform effort is, however, insufficient in the vast majority of countries. Today, fewer than half of economies worldwide have mandated equal remuneration for work of equal value. That's 90 economies. And in 88 economies, law restricts the jobs and hours that women can work. Oh, really? That's interesting. All right, let me continue. Affecting 2.6 billion women. This leads to occupational segregation, which has resulted in women being overrepresented in jobs that are more affected by COVID-19 disruptions. Wait a minute, let me pause and read that again. This leads to occupational segregation. Occupational segregation. So the jobs are segregated. They are put apart in different segments. Right? In this case, women are in one area, men is in another, as it relates to the jobs that they can do. So they're separated. They are not on equal footing. All right, let me read this from the from the top. This leads to occupational segregation, which has resulted in women being overrepresented in jobs that are more affected by COVID-19 disruptions, such as education, retail, tourism, hospitality, and domestic services. While the pay indicator, which measures job restrictions and the right to equal pay, recorded the most improvement in scores in the New Women, Business and Law 2021 report. It is also the indicator with the second lowest performance out of the 8 indicators. The Women Business and Law website has various resources available, including the report, economy snapshot, current and historical data, new data visualizations, PowerPoint slides, and much more. Over the next few months, we will continue to blog on the key findings from the report. This is very interesting, guys, I must say. This is all for now. You guys can actually click on the link and check out the report, and they will provide more information as it relates to women's rights and the global recovery. Alright guys, thank you so much for tuning into the web, and I'll see you guys in the next one.